It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Here's our host, Randy Wilburn.
Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and I'm excited to be with you for another episode. I'm sitting here in the Furman Garner Performance Studio at KUAF 91.3 FM, the NPR public radio station here in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm sitting with the lovely Samantha Gregory. Samantha is known more by her handle, which is Munchin' with Mantha. And Samantha is, well, I'll let her tell her story, but I connected with her a while ago, and I wanted to have her on to kind of balance out some of the other, what I would call food influencers that are here in Northwest Arkansas that I've had the privilege of connecting with. And certainly the Hangry Peddler comes to mind, and Joseph Went, and just all the stuff that he's doing. And I just love following these people, if for no other reason, just to cathartically live through them as they experience all of the amazing food that Northwest Arkansas has to offer. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring Samantha on, because I thought this could be maybe a masterclass on how you take your passion and develop it into something that is something, right? I mean, that's what she's done with Munchin' with Mantha, where she not only she uses Northwest Arkansas as her home base, but she goes out to other really great cities that have amazing food and talks about that. And so we're going to learn more about that today, but I want you to get your notepad out because she's going to share some great places that she likes to eat. And for those of the uninitiated that are thinking about moving to Northwest Arkansas, this is the episode for you if you're concerned that we just don't have the gastro influence here in Northwest Arkansas. I'm here to tell you that we do. And I think after you've listened to this episode with Samantha, you will definitely concur with our findings. So without further ado, Samantha Gregory, Munchin' with Mantha, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. Excited to be here.
Good. Tell us just a little bit about your superhero origin story. I always like to start off with that, but tell us how you ended up here in Northwest Arkansas. I guess it was to come to school.
Yes, I graduated high school in 2017 and came to the University of Arkansas and graduated from here in 2021. And I just fell in love with Fayetteville and the whole area. Being from Arkansas, you understand that it feels like a whole different state completely up here, which is nice to kind of experience, I guess, both areas in my life. But I really love it up here. I love the people. But I started my page in 2018. I started it just because in January of 2018, I started the page because me and my friends honestly needed more places to eat in Northwest Arkansas. And there was a girl I followed who went to Mississippi State, and she had a page called like Hungry Hannah or something.
Okay.
And I was like, that's so fun. Like, she used her name. It was unique. And she just showcased places in Starkville. And I was like, you know what? Like, let's do something like that for Fayetteville. And me and my friends honestly just had a great time with it. People would, follow and just be like, oh, I saw your post about this place. Like, how was it? Be honest, whatever. And I'm like, honestly, it was great. Like, I really don't post anything that I genuinely don't enjoy, but sure. I really loved just posting about stuff. I think my first post was actually Chicken Finger Friday from one of the sorority houses at the U of A, which is just funny because it's not really a typical, restaurant. But I started the page and then I just kept doing it all through college, really enjoyed it. I was pretty involved in college and did a lot of stuff. So it was just really nice to get your name out there and do stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I love that. And so it was your passion growing up. Did you find yourself loving food that way? I mean, yes. Again, and when I say loving food, I mean, we all like to eat. Yes. We all love food. But I mean, some people love food more than others.
Yes. I think I love the experience of going to a restaurant with your family or your friends and just chatting and trying something new. Growing up, I would always want to be like, my parents, I love mom's an incredible cook. I absolutely love her.
Shout out to mom.
Yes, I love my mom so much. But it was also fun when we got to go somewhere and try something new. Like, I would always be the one growing up, especially in middle school and high school, whenever there was like a foodie revolution on the internet at that time. And there were so many pages posting just crazy stuff online of different types of foods and crazy, there was a burger that trended that was made out of a donut. It was just crazy stuff that happened on the internet in like 2014, 2015. And I would always find fun places to go, whether we were visiting family in Dallas or we were going on a trip with friends or family. And I would always try to find somewhere fun and fresh for us to eat because one, you get to try something new and with the people you love. So it's just always fun. Same thing through college. I would always want to try stuff that, either was in Bentonville. Like my freshman year, I probably made it up to Bentonville once. I didn't even know that there was a whole museum up there and stuff.
Sure.
And so you get to learn about all that different stuff and all the different areas in Northwest Arkansas that have really great food. So yeah.
I love that. And so I would imagine that you really, I guess over time as you got to witness the quick change here in Northwest Arkansas. I moved here in 2014, but it seemed around 2016, 2017 when you got here, things started to really ramp up in the sense of different restaurants opening up, different opportunities to try different foods, different styles of food. And so I think that's really interesting when you think about how quickly this area has transformed into being kind of a hotbed of not only experimentation, but just really good cuisine.
Yeah. It became a destination for people in other parts of Arkansas to come try foods they never imagined they would. I had friends who went to schools in central Arkansas, and whenever they were, say, going to they were coming here for a bachelorette trip or they were coming up here just for a vacation, they would ask me where to eat because they wanted to try something new that they didn't have in the rest of the state or anywhere else they had really been. So you really get to try a ton of different things up here, and it's, our little corner of the world. So
yeah, no, and I love that. So you were in school in a sorority. You decided that, with a lot of your peers, your cell phone is kind of like your baby, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, so you said, oh, maybe I should use this. How did you develop your storytelling chops when it came to checking out different places?
Yeah. Well, I consider myself to be very Gen Z. I'm 25, so I'm right on that cusp. So definitely I grew up with my phone in my hand. And honestly, I think the more positive things you share on the internet, the better.
Yeah.
And so I would just try to share places that me and my friends genuinely enjoyed. And there's one place that specifically comes to mind. Chakotay Hibachi Express, Northwest Arkansas, is a little hole-in-the-wall hibachi restaurant, and it's on MLK, and it's so delicious. Me and my friends went there one time just to try it out because I had heard of it, posted about it, and then it just became a phenomenon with people in my sorority and in my friends. We even had our advisors in our sorority who would they said, I go every week. I go pick it up and bring it home to my husband, and it was just great to hear a little restaurant like that. So many people had good memories there. Me and my friends even did a secret Santa exchange there. It was just became such a place for us to go and hang out, and it was just the most random spot. You would, it's not the traditional going to brunch with your friends or whatever. It was just a spot that we all loved. And when friends come to visit, we still go there. And so just stuff like that just is so fun to do.
And what is the name of this place?
Chakotay Hibachi Express.
Where is it?
It's right behind, on the same strip as Mexico Viejo and Whiskey 101. It's towards the end of it.
Okay. All
so
right.
It's pretty small, but it's been a great place for me. My friends love to go and hang out. So
that's funny. Yeah. We'll have to put a link to that in the show notes, and that way they can check it out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's awesome. What's your favorite item there?
I just get the hibachi chicken. I typically like to get noodles too. Their noodles are really good, but they have so much on the menu. And it's decently priced too. You're just getting quality hibachi. Me and my friends love it. So, there's obviously, you can go sit down at a hibachi grill and stuff, but this just comes out literally in a styrofoam box and they hand it to you and then that's it.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing crazy.
So what have you found or what have you discovered as you've gone out and expanded your palate, right? Because again, of course, soul food, country cooking and all that, but up here, there are a lot more options than you would find in some other places, even in Southern Arkansas. Yeah. I'm curious to know, how did your palate expand and what has become your go-to now currently?
In 2017, before I started the page, you wouldn't even catch me eating a burger with an egg on it. I thought that was the strangest thing. And I was like, I don't want to try that. I honestly considered myself a picky eater.
Yeah.
And then whenever I started going to places, I was like, I don't want to get just the most basic thing on the menu. I don't want everyone to get the same thing. Everyone you're sitting with, I encourage my friends to get whatever they want, but at the same time, we can try each other's plates. I love doing that. And so I just started trying new things that I normally wouldn't get. And there was a restaurant I went to a couple weeks ago, and my friend looked at the menu and she said, "Are you going to like anything here?" And I was like, I don't know. We'll try it. And I went, and it was one of the best meals I've had in Northwest Arkansas in a very long time. It's Bienvenue in Springdale.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
It's so good.
Okay. I've heard about Bienvenue, and it's what I heard somebody describe it as is it's sneaky good.
Yeah.
It's
that's
just
a great
really
way.
good.
Yeah.
What did you have there?
I got the scallops with squid ink ravioli with crab cakes inside, or little crab things inside. It was so good. Everything there was great. And I was honestly, we got escargot. Didn't think I would like that.
Right.
And I'll try anything once. So, might as well just go ahead and try it and see if you like it. And they do it so well, especially like French food. French cuisine is kind of, I think, hard to master, especially here in Northwest Arkansas, people would think. And so they did a great job and the food was great. I usually didn't think I was a scallops person, but they just melted in your mouth. They were so good. So I think there's a lot of options up here to try new things like that.
Absolutely.
Definitely have not hit every corner of the food scene up here. I mean, I've got a list on my phone that's so long and, it's never ending. But, and there's only so many days in the week that you can go, to a lot of these places. But I mean, if you want to try something, it's up here.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I love that. Yeah. And I think about, so Bienvenues, definitely, we have more French inspired restaurants here now than we did when I first moved here. I think of like Chef Elliot Hunt at Atlas. Yeah. His food is amazing.
I still haven't been there.
You haven't been? Oh my goodness. It's been on my
list for years.
I've been to a place that Munchin with Mantha hasn't been to. You've definitely got to check it out.
Everyone tells me.
And tell Chef Elliot I sent you. It's really good. I think it is. He was classically trained in France while he was on exchange over there. He studied under a 1-star Michelin chef. The guy knows what he's doing. Yeah. I love the way he treats his employees. I love the way he takes them on an annual trip every year. They go to a couple of different countries and they bring those influences back with them. And it's resident in their cooking, which is really cool. So, but anyway, so good. So I've been to a place you haven't been to. So I actually feel good about that. So let's just, for those that are listening that have maybe even toyed with the idea of becoming an influencer, and I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, who always talks about document, don't create, right? Just document what you do. And that's really what you're doing. Yeah. You're documenting your experiences when you go out to eat. When you go out to have a cup of coffee or whatever, you document those experiences and the way that your creativity shows up in how you present that to the world, right? And people can choose to view it or not. Yep. And now you have a lot of people viewing it. So I guess you probably didn't expect it would grow the way that it has.
I did not. I remember in 2020 when I hit 1,000 followers and I was sitting with my friend Connor and I was like, that's crazy. Like 1,000 people follow me. And then I picked it back up and I did take a little break in 2021 to 2022 after I graduated. Well,
there was a pandemic going on.
There was a lot going on at that time. And I just wasn't finding any inspiration. And then when I picked it back up really in 2022 and 2023, people just really started following and listening. And when someone will say like, oh, I go everywhere Munchin with Mantha recommends, I'm like, really? Like, are you sure? This place was great, but I typically don't post anything. If I didn't enjoy a place, I just won't post about it. Yeah. Period. And so I like to keep it very, positive, just the places that I really enjoyed or I had a good experience there. But one of the best things is to be able to look back on the videos and remember who I was with and where we were. If we were trying a new restaurant in Dallas with my friends who lived there, and that's just so fun to look back and see what we enjoyed. And I remember the conversations we had when we were there, and it's just fun to be able to look back on all that stuff and see it, and then also recommend other people go there. And even if you may not have the best experience with your food wise, at least maybe you tried something new with friends, Yeah,
absolutely. So. Well, and you bring up a good point, and I want to stress the fact that you are a food influencer, not a critic. Yeah. There's a difference. Yeah. Right? Because some people are like, oh, well, give me the skinny. What's the lowdown? Is it really good? Is it not? If it's not, you should tell me. Because then do people ever get upset with you or say, you recommended this place or, whatever, because clearly if you don't mention a place, I'm not going to assume that it's up to your standards.
And I'll have people message me and say, have you been to this place? And maybe I haven't posted about it, but I have been. There was someone mentioned a place in Bentonville that I haven't been to in years, but I absolutely love it. I recommend it to people if they need a nicer restaurant in Bentonville. It's Tavola.
Oh yeah, I know Tavola. Yeah.
And if people message me, it's like, I just haven't been there recently and made a video about it. So that doesn't mean I don't like it.
Yeah, sure.
But then if there's a place, if someone messaged me about a place and they say like, oh, have you been here? I want to go. If I have been and I didn't like it, I'll be honest with you over message. That doesn't mean I'm going to blast the restaurant, out there. But I have gotten people who, it's like, oh, did you really like this place? Yes, I wouldn't have posted it if I didn't. Or if people will comment like, oh, I had a terrible experience here. Yeah. I'm like, thank you for telling me. Have you told the restaurant about your experience? Have you messaged them or called them privately? You don't have to blast them on, Google or TikTok or whatever.
That seems to be the default though, right?
Yes,
it's like
does.
Everybody goes automatically to social media to vent their issues as opposed to just calling people directly. Yep. I have found that a direct phone call or a direct message to the store owner or whatever, especially in the day and age that we're in, where literally a keyboard warrior can kill a reputation, like in a heartbeat.
Yes,
and people don't understand that if you do that to a restaurant who is employing 7 or 8 people, you've not only affected that restaurant owner, you've affected the families of 7 or 8 families.
Yeah. I mean, it's a domino effect when it comes to that stuff. And it's just, I mean, if you have an actual issue, you're probably going to get more done by calling them directly. And just, they may offer you a free entree next time you come in or something to, make your experience better. But I think getting online and posting that stuff, they just want other people to agree with them and listen to them, honestly. I mean, that's what people want, to feel validated in their feelings. And I think there are other ways to do it, definitely. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, please take note of that. So what are you most excited about now with regard to your channel, the information that you're sharing out, because you have kind of expanded beyond Northwest Arkansas?
Yeah.
You said, you know what, I'm not going to let Northwest Arkansas hold me down. I'm going to, spread my wings and learn to fly again, learn to fly so free.
Yes, absolutely. I used to have in my page like NWA in my bio. And I think right now I still have it like mainly NWA, but I like to travel and I don't have it really anywhere else because I munch with Mantha. I'm munching, whoever, with my friends, wherever I am. So this year, especially, I've had the opportunity to go on a couple trips. I went to New York and Chicago, and then I visit my friends in Dallas a lot. But I mean, posting about other places and trying different things is just, I mean, if people trust what I post here, hopefully they would trust where I went to in other places. So that's been fun and always fun to expand your palate and try something else because we do have great food here, but there is also great food everywhere else too.
Everywhere else, yeah. Are your experiences different, do you think, when you go to other places versus maybe the familiarity that you have with Northwest Arkansas? For
sure. I honestly feel like I can... When I'm in Northwest Arkansas, anytime I go somewhere, I feel like I kind of have to be on alert. I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna post about this place, a lot of other people I know have posted about it as well. NWA Transplants, Hangry Peddler, NW Newbies are some of my favorite people I follow up here. And I know we all will try a bunch of places and we'll all have different experiences, but we'll all post about it. When I go somewhere else, I don't know, there could have been someone out there with 2 million followers who posted about this place, or Keith Lee. He's incredible. And so I'm like, okay, these people, I had a video from New York go pretty viral. It got like 20,000 views, which is good for a place I don't live.
Right.
And there were people commenting like, oh, you should have got this. You should have got this. And I'm like, they've been eating at this pizza place for 30 years. And I, went here once. So I think that's pretty interesting to see how the content's received in different areas for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's exciting too, right? Because and now in this day and age, and even as I sit here and hear you say what your comment that you just made about, going to other cities and they not necessarily knowing you. I mean, well, Guy Fieri goes around to different cities. And I mean, of course, people know him now, but, I love diners, drive-ins, and dives because he finds these hole-in-the-wall places that you're like, I would have never known this existed. And I always love trying to find places that he's put his stamp on. Yep. Now, it doesn't mean that they're always going to be amazing either, but a lot of times, TV makes for, good fun. So you're like, oh, well, let me try this and see what it's like.
Oh, absolutely. And I think especially, like I mentioned, I grew up with my phone in my hand. You see these places in, Chicago or New York that went viral for their, their one dish they have or whatever. And you go and try it and you're like, oh, that wasn't as, good as it, I thought it was going to be because it, went viral for one thing or whatever. But I think it's worth it to try those places though. Yeah. Just go check them out. Or you may find a hole in the wall in, New York or wherever. And there was one place I think we literally just walked into because we were hungry. So it's, fun stuff like that makes it kind of worth it when you're trying new stuff. So
yeah, it's funny. I just recently, at the time of us recording this a couple of weeks ago, I'd finally sat down with Chef Michael Robert Shaw of Pizzeria Ruby fame. For those of you that know, it's some of the best pizza that you're going to find up here in Northwest Arkansas. And he and I were kind of commiserating because I spent 17 years up in Boston, and there's a place called Armando's in Cambridge, which was voted by GQ one of the top 10 pizza places in the country. It's literally a hole in the wall. Yeah. It's probably as big as the room that we're in right now, but the pizza coming out of there is insane. But I mean, again, you sometimes you just never know what you're going to stumble upon in the smallest of places. That's why I always tell people, don't judge a book by its cover.
Literally.
Now clearly, I think we all want our restaurants to be clean, but sometimes you go to places where you're not really sure, but maybe the curtains are a little tattered and all that, but whoever is cooking, coming out, whoever's making things happen out of that kitchen is doing it with love and a level of expertise that you don't always find. And I find that to be the case with a lot of food trucks too.
Yeah, absolutely. Food trucks, I need to get out to more of them, honestly, because some of the best food you'll have up here is coming out of food trucks, and you may not, realize it, or you just may not know that that's there. Because I think one thing is, I like to post a lot of the videos that I post. I like to show off the restaurant because I really want, their aesthetics to be shown, or people feel more comfortable going into a place if they've seen it before.
Yep.
So, if you see what the restaurant is or what the layout is, or, where's the host stand when you walk in, people really want to see that stuff. And so I like to post that stuff when you go to a food truck. I mean, the video is going to be shorter. It's only, it's literally just a truck, but the food there can sometimes be some of the best you've had. So,
yeah, which I love. And we have a number of really great food trucks here. And then even just, some of the most unlikeliest of places have really good food here in Northwest Arkansas. And I'm thinking specifically of a couple of places that come to mind. One is the Theater Squared restaurant that they have in there, the Commons bar and cafe that they have. Their food is really good. 641 Deli at the Fayetteville Public Library. Yes, our library in Fayetteville does have a deli that has some really good food. Yeah. Their sweet potato tots are legendary. But their Arkansas beans and rice is a locally sourced and locally made dish. And the cool thing about that, and a shout out to 641 Deli and the library itself, is that we have a lot of transient people that come through this area. Some people that are unfortunately homeless. If you walk in there, you can get a free bowl of beans and rice. If you can't pay for it, it's not a problem. But, that's a couple of the things that I really love about Northwest Arkansas are these restaurants and these outlets where you can get a great meal, and they're not only serving you and quenching your hunger, but they're also serving a greater need in the community. For the Love food truck comes to mind when I think about that. Have you had their food at all? I have not,
but I've heard of it.
You got to check it out. It's a really interesting concept, and they pretty much set up food trucks in a couple of different cities here in Northwest Arkansas, and it's all volunteer. They make great meals, and then they basically encourage everybody to sit around a big table or tables and just, community, just have really good meals, and they do a lot. And so I certainly encourage folks to check out some of those food trucks, because some food trucks you don't even need money for. So, which is kind of nice. So what are you excited about for the future as it pertains to kind of being a food influencer? And what are you personally doing to kind of enhance your ability to tell a story and to capture the essence of what makes a great restaurant?
I think definitely trying to post more about the places that people either already know and love, or, kind of making them known. I think there's been a lot of places that I love Hugo's. I'd never posted about it though, so posting a reel about that and trying to get other people in other areas to realize the food that we have up here. I mean, it's great whenever I get to post about a place and people who live like in, South Arkansas or like Kansas or, Missouri realize like where it is, and it brings people to this area. I think that's really fun. And I think getting my stuff out to a larger audience so people know they can come here, or even like I've said, posting about other cities, people in Northwest Arkansas knowing that they can, travel and go try food at these other places.
Right.
There's great options around us. I mean, Kansas City, Tulsa, I've had some great meals in some of those places. And then
Tulsa has some great restaurants.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Tulsa. Kansas City specifically has this food hall they have that I've been to before. So good. I mean, I've been there twice, and I've only been to Kansas City about 3 or 4 times. So, yeah, this really says something.
Tulsa has a food hall as well.
Oh, love that.
They have a really good food hall. And I actually like food halls because it's kind of like everything's under one roof. So if you go and you're with a bunch of picky eaters, everybody can find something that they like, which is nice, right?
St. Louis has a fabulous food hall. It was so good. We went there a couple weeks ago with some friends, and I mean, everyone got something they wanted. It was perfect. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. So, I mean, again, you're at present time of recording this, you're about 19,000 people following you. That's a lot. I mean, some TV shows don't have 19,000 people watching them. Yeah. I mean, do you kind of recognize that aspect of it?
My mom loves to text me whenever I've hit a new number or anything like that. And
Girl, you hit 18,000.
Yes, we'll be talking about anything, and then she'll just send 18K. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's what we're talking about. But I think I didn't really put it into perspective until someone told me that more people follow me than can fit in Simmons Bank Arena in Little Rock. And I was like, that's kind of insane. So,
I love that. Well, and that's a good point. And I'm always telling people that don't despise small beginnings.
Yeah.
And more importantly, even 500 people following you, those are human beings.
Literally.
Outside of like Russian bot farms that might be, the 4 or 5 that might not be real people. Yep. The rest of them are human beings.
Yep.
And I always tell people, like, when I do a lot of public people that want to learn how to do public speaking, and that's one of the biggest fears that most people have. And I'm like, well, just imagine if I put you in a room with 300 people right now, this minute, what would you do? What would you say?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, if you have 300 people listening to your podcast or following you on Instagram, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You may not reach each and every one of them instantly, but that's how it is in real life too. Because, 2/3 of the people in that room are on their phones, sending text messages, watching TikTok silently and reading the captions. So, you don't always have like people, the audience fully focusing on what you're saying and the words that are coming out of your mouth. So I think it's important for people to understand that. And I'm certainly heartened by the fact that you take that seriously and recognize that, like in the great words of Uncle Ben, right? Peter Parker's uncle, to whom great power is given, it requires great responsibility.
Yep.
So
I've definitely learned a lot about that. Whenever I had one of my videos kind of blow up, I guess last summer, it was Blue in Bentonville. Love that place. And it was really good, but it was getting a lot of traction.
Restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they fly in their fish like every other day. Like it's
probably the freshest seafood that you're going to get.
And you can go in and you can go and eat, or you can just go buy things from their market. It's pretty incredible. That one was going kind of getting viral on TikTok specifically. And I was kind of overwhelmed. And I was with my friend Caroline and I was like, this is really stressful. I was like, people are commenting and, following me that I didn't have this many eyes on me at once before. But definitely I've gotten a thicker skin from it. Definitely. Yeah. And then I've also just learned like everything I post like has weight to it, whatever it is. And I think everyone can learn that as well, just whether they're commenting on stuff or anything you put on the internet, it's there forever. And that truly is, it's not just a figment of speech that people say to young kids, what did you put online? Like it does have weight to it. So always be careful what you're posting. But I think it's important to realize how many people are watching you if you have a following kind of online, and just to remember like you could post what you want, like truly post what you want. Just remember that some people are looking at it, and what you post could affect other people. But also just remember that it's your page and you can kind of do what you want, but always be cognizant of what's going on. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like just like you share your platform with a lot of different restaurants, I share my platform with a lot of interesting people, aka you and so many others. So I mean, I don't take it lightly. I recognize how important it is, and it's something that I want to make sure that I put the best product out there that is as impactful as it can be to the widest audience possible. Yeah. But I also realize that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, so that's fine too. Oh, yeah. So, because some people are going to jive with you and some people aren't. So, and
that's totally fine. Again, you can follow who you want and, kind of do what you want. So,
yeah, no, I love that. All right. So as we get closer to the end of this conversation, I really wanted to, what are you most excited about for the future in terms of what you're currently doing right now? Do you feel like you're just kind of going to see what happens, or do you have a master plan in place for Munching with Mantha? Are we going to see you on the Food Network soon or something? Well, do you like to cook?
I like to cook. I dabble. Not anything
not like
crazy,
your mom.
though. Not like my mom at all. I've definitely asked for her recipes over the years, and she'll send them to me, and I'm like, it didn't turn out exactly how you did it, or I'll make an adjustment. And she's like, do whatever you want. But definitely leave that up to her. But I like to cook a little bit. I want to learn like the basics. I think one big thing, and I always kind of think of this when I think about people who cook at home and everything, you can buy canned Alfredo sauce, or you can easily make it with like garlic, shallots, heavy whipping cream, and Parmesan cheese. Like it's so simple. So I think it's just learning the little things that we do and make and enjoy, kind of every day almost, and just learning how to do them yourself and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Well, I went vegan at the end of last year, so I'm learning. I know. Yeah. Wow is right. I'm learning a lot about how to cook because I don't have as many vegan options as you might in some bigger cities. And it's coming. I mean, it's coming from Northwest Arkansas, but I've learned recently that things that you think are hard to make really aren't that difficult. Like I'm making vegan sour cream, and I make a queso dip without cheese.
Incredible. Yeah.
And it is the most amazing thing.
Yeah. What are you using in place of everything?
So cashews. Yep. We use a little bit of the vinegar water from jalapenos. Okay. We put fresh jalapenos in. Nutritional yeast is a big part of that. And you just get a food processor. That has become my friend. Yep. Oh, and I also use a Vitamix. So the Vitamix blender really kind of, and you typically see those in smoothie shops and places like that. I mean, they blend the hell out of things. Yes. So, but the Vitamix, when you blanch and boil the cashews and break them down, and really any nut, I mean, you could do macadamia nuts, and some of those nuts are really rich with really good oils and stuff like that. But the cashews specifically, there's something about when you add that nutritional yeast and the jalapenos, and I mean, you talk about an amazing queso that if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. You'd be like, "Oh, where did you get this from? Tacos for Life?" Or I'd be like, "No, this is Randy's queso."
I love that. I follow a couple, I guess, TikTok chefs who are, vegan or whatever, and the stuff that they make and how they talk about it, I'm like, I want to try it. I mean, it looks fantastic. I mean, that's awesome that you're doing that. I love that.
We made a walnut Frito pie with a Frito pie is typically made with chili, and we made the chili with walnuts. I wasn't sure how this was going to turn out. My wife's an amazing cook, so she knows what she's doing, and the kids didn't even know. They had no idea. They were like, "This is great." My son's eating 2 bowls of walnut-based chili.
That's incredible.
And Fritos and loving it, loving every minute of it.
I went to Conifer a couple weeks ago for the first time.
Matt is the man.
So good.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was gluten-free. And and that's much different than vegan, but
no, it is.
It was,
but he does a lot of vegan stuff. But tell me, did you have the buffalo mushrooms?
They didn't have them when we were in there. Yeah.
What did you have?
The winter menu.
Okay.
The bread, first of all, just shocking. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gluten-free. I don't have to be or anything, but it was just interesting to try. And then the bolognese, I mean, the pasta was incredible. And of course, the chicken and dumplings everyone was raving about. And I was shocked. I was like, and so I told my friend her husband's gluten-free, and I was like, you guys have to go.
Yeah, Matt will take care of you. Yeah, because he's got celiac, it is really good.
Yeah,
and so
awesome.
and I'm hoping for more gluten-sensitive restaurants as well as now that I'm vegan, more vegan options. And I'm actually going to do a show or two about veganism in Northwest Arkansas because I've actually heard from a few people that are like, what's it like for somebody like me that's coming here? And I mean, I can't eat fried chicken all the time because that's the knock, right? People hear, is it just fried chicken? And I'm like, no, I mean, we do have, we have
a lot of chicken restaurants.
Yeah, we have a lot of chicken restaurants just like anybody else, but there's a lot of options. So,
and hopefully more options that the restaurant, it's their primary focus, and it's not just, they have one vegan option on the menu.
Exactly.
Or we can substitute, if you're gluten-free, we can substitute you for this bread. I'm like, no, let's get some things that are actually, there's multiple things on there for them to try. So
no, absolutely. Okay, so before we close out, and I want anybody that's listening to this right now, you're probably going to need to grab a pen and paper, and I will certainly take a copy of this list that she's about to give us of her favorite spots in Northwest Arkansas. And this is also for those of you that are coming here to visit because you're thinking about taking a job with Walmart or Tyson or JB Hunt or fill in the blank, any company that's here locally. Even my man Ben Clark at Be Unlimited. I know you're hiring people all the time. So, but no, seriously though, give us your list of some of the favorite places that you like to frequent.
I kind of broke it down by city.
Okay.
Definitely, I already mentioned it, but Chicote Hibachi Express is just such a fun place to go in Fayetteville. But if you're ever, shopping around the square and you need to stop in for lunch, I love Loaf and Joe's.
Yeah.
Love that place. Get the ranch chips if you're going to go, definitely. And then a new place that I recently went for during Fayetteville Restaurant Week that Fayetteville Tourism put on was Isabella's. It's an Italian restaurant. They consider themselves to be in Midtown Fayetteville. They're, on College down near the Fiesta Square AMC area. Yep. And it was so good. And it's a small place in there. I mean, but what they do and what they have, they do it right. So it's just good.
I think it's right there behind the gas station. It's on the corner of Rolling Hills and North College in Fayetteville. So that's awesome.
Love that place.
Cool.
And then Springdale, I kind of already mentioned this as well, but Bienvenue is awesome. Really great if you're looking to try something new in Northwest Arkansas, French cuisine. It's awesome. And then Rogers, I will say, Rogers has a lot of, those big box stores and, chain restaurants and everything. My favorite place in Rogers is Local Lime. I will go here.
I've heard Local Lime. No, I've not.
Oh my gosh, you have to go. It's whenever my friends visit, we always have to go there. It's just their appetizers are great. The salsa trio, the guac, the queso, everything's great there. I love that place. And they always have drink specials too. So definitely check out and ask what, they're offering that day.
Okay. Local Lime. All right.
And then Heroes Coffee is in Rogers as well. I'm a big coffee drinker. So any chance I get to try a new coffee place,
have you been to Doomsday?
I have.
Okay.
I have. That's another place that I, went years ago and I haven't made any content on recently, but I definitely got to go back and check it out. Their breakfast tacos and breakfast burritos are they're
legendary. And it's a veteran-owned coffee shop. And so, I always try to support them whenever I can. But their coffee is amazing. Yes. So, and as soon as if I'm going out 412, I always go get some Doomsday coffee. Yes. So
I love that. And then for Bentonville, Delta Biscuit Co. is an incredible food truck.
He's been on the podcast.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast.
So good. I've been trying to get my friends to go up. Like if they come to visit and they're heading out of town, I'm like, we have to go to Bentonville really quickly and get breakfast here at this place. obviously Tavola, I already mentioned them, Conifer. And then Meteor, they actually have a couple locations. They have one in Dallas and Austin as well. And they're opening one, I think, in Fayetteville in South Yard.
Okay.
But Meteor is awesome. I mean, it's focused like bike shop, but then also they have like, beers on tap and then pizza and other things too.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a little peddler's pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different than that. So, but very cool. Well, those are some good lists right there. I have to make sure that we put all of that in the show notes. I don't know if you guys caught all that, but we got Loaf & Joe's and Isabella's in Fayetteville and Springdale. We have Bienvenue in Rogers. We have Local Lime and Heroes Coffee in Bentonville. We've got Delta Biscuit Company, Tavola, Conifer, Meteor, and there's always so many more. Have you been up to Eureka Springs at all?
No, but I need to go and make a whole day of it.
You
and
do. You really do. Because there's a
yeah.
bunch of good spots up in Eureka Springs. And what about Siloam?
Siloam, just a little bit in Siloam. Nothing crazy. I went through a wedding a couple weeks ago and I was like, you know what? I need to come spend a day here too. I try to really only eat out on the weekends. Mm-hmm. And so it's, you got to try to fill your time with depending on what content I want to post at one time. So it's a lot, but it's fun. So you're never going to run out of options up here, which is great.
Listen, I think people that are listening to this are probably hungry right now, just hearing you talk, Samantha. If anybody wants to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do it?
On Instagram, it's just Munchin with Mantha. Yep. And then on TikTok, you can also search Munchin with Mantha. But those are the main two platforms I use. Haven't got too much into the Facebook of it all, but yeah. Do
you have more followers on TikTok than you do?
More on Instagram. But if I'm ever out and about and someone stops me or they, recognize me, they recognize me from TikTok. So not really sure how that works. But I have had some people who they messaged me and they're like, oh, I didn't say hi. Like I was too shy. I'm like, please come up. Please say hi. Like,
just say what's up.
No, just say hi.
I get that all the time.
Yes.
I get it when people hear my voice and they're like, are you the podcast guy? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. So, which is super weird, right?
Yes.
Because, when you see people on TV, you recognize them instantly. But, you hear a voice, it's a little different.
Someone did that at Target. They were an aisle over and they said, I heard your voice across the aisle. And I had to come say, I was like, awesome. Cool.
There you go. I love that. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be with us here on the podcast and kind of share your origin story and just what you're finding to be really cool places to eat in Northwest Arkansas. I just want to encourage you to continue pressing record, keep doing what you're doing. And, who knows, we might find you on Food Network soon. So I would totally freak out if I do see you on there. I'd be like, hey, I know her. She's been on my podcast. So. But no, I wish you nothing but continued success, Samantha. And certainly we want to stay in touch with you just to kind of find out the latest and greatest things. But we already follow you, and we're going to encourage everybody listening to the podcast to please follow Samantha Gregory from Munchin with Mantha. You can find her both on TikTok and on Instagram. You will not be disappointed. She really does a great job documenting just her experiences out here in the wilds of Northwest Arkansas when it comes to great food. And now beyond in this big United States of America, and who knows, maybe Europe and Asia's next.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, I'm speaking those things that aren't as though they are. So we're going to make it happen. But anyway, Samantha Gregory, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the podcast.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Absolutely. Well, folks, there you have it. Another episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. To learn more about us, you can visit us on our website at iamnorthwestarkansas.com. You can also check us out wherever podcasts can be found, especially Apple Podcasts. And remember, you can not only download the podcast, but you can also read the transcript right there on Apple Podcasts now, which is a really cool feature that they offer. Yes, I am an Apple fanboy, but I know Spotify exists. I know that there's so many other podcast platforms. So I don't care how you listen to us. I just want to encourage you to listen because you'll hear more great stories like the one that we just told today with Samantha Gregory from Munchin with Mantha. Remember, our podcast comes out rain or shine every Monday, and we also are featured on KUAF's Ozarks at Large every Tuesday, both at 12 noon and at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and we'll see you back here next week with another new episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes or more information on becoming a guest, visit iamnorthwestarkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.